It might suck to be you, KU. Oklahoma State has absolutely nothing to lose, tons to gain. Pistol Pete will be packing on the sideline, which is pretty scary if your mascot happens to be a bird. Oh, and did we forget the fact this is on a weekend that's designed for Oklahoma State to rock the orange and black and let the monsters mash?
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Halloween, all of our Big 12 brethren. Shout out to the regulators. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your top stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visually as well on YouTube. Find me personally on X at All Day O State. Today, we're partially brought to you by Mazda. Like our players that sweat every detail, so does Mazda, because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for the highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward moment with Mazda, where you can move and be moved. We get to slide right into this conversation of Oklahoma State, heading up to Lawrence, Kansas on this Halloween weekend. And the orange and black of Oklahoma State may not be, well, there may not be any better fitting team in the country to make something crazy happen. And this is a monster mash moment for the Cowboys. Let it all hang out. We have nothing to lose. If that means we blitz 83.3% of the time, then dag nabbit, just let it happen. Allow Wendell Gregory to be the absolute beast and the MVP of the defense that he seems to be thus far this season. Let it all hang out. Let's see some interesting packages defensively. Let's see some secondary dudes getting into the backfield. Let's see some corner blitzes. Let LaDainian Fields just pin his ears back and have some fun. Maybe it'll reignite that first game he got with the pick six to kind of get everybody used to how number 9 was going to play DB. Allow Cam Smith, number 3, to excel, because Kansas doesn't necessarily have any receivers in the top 25 in the conference. Neither does Oklahoma State. So this shouldn't be a shootout style of situation where we got to worry about getting burnt deep 24/7. So again, pin your ears back. This is a game for DeSean Brown to get absolutely loose today, or in this particular ball game. I want to see more Aiden Kelly getting the love that he deserves from PFF. I want to see some of the offensive line get kind of nasty. Let's see if Nuku Mafi can get himself a pancake to go alongside some of the Reese's chocolate, syrupy madness that could be happening. I want to see more intensity out of somebody like a Trip White, even if he's going to be, splitting some reps with the new number 6 to take over for Lyric Rawls and Brandon Rawls, who has the ability to not only stretch the edge of the field to kind of allow for another amount of angles for pursuit, which should give Sidvini, Hafili, Kafusi more opportunities. This is going to be a great opportunity for Landon Dean. There's going to be a lot of newer dudes getting opportunities. We're going to talk about that after some of the matchup problems for both squads. But going back to this, I just want to see some fun, some trickeration. Just let your hair fly and let the dogs go and see what happens. We need to create some turmoil here. We need to get in the backfield. We need to get a couple interceptions. Neither Oklahoma State or Kansas are very good in the interception department. We're right there in the 14, 15-inch range in the conference. So we need to win the turnover battle. I do think that special teams is going to be very, very important. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next segment. Oklahoma State has the opportunity here with nothing to lose, not to mention the fact that we don't know who's going to play quarterback. So KU definitely doesn't know who's going to play quarterback. Haas Haney is on the injury report, so he's not going to be the guy, unfortunately. But Zane Flores is not on the injury report once again. Sam Jackson has been the guy that's been leading the offense for Oklahoma State, the pseudo quarterback that started the season as a wide receiver after transferring from Auburn. I think he does create enough mismatch problems that if you can take some deep shots, if you can have some guys, take the top of the defense, and I do think they're going to have more dudes to throw the ball to in this ball game, then why not? Why not have Oklahoma State pull this thing out and get a dub that they're not supposed to get, especially on the road against a team that is kind of reeling, right? We talked about yesterday, but 10th in some offensive categories, rushing, passing, like 11th in total offense. They're like number 12 in the conference in defense too. So there is going to be moments for Oklahoma State when we're talking about trick or treat, trickeration. If Zane Flores is healthy, if Sam Jackson V is healthy, put them both in the backfield, right? There's not very many things that we've been hooting and hollering for this season that haven't had at least some semblance of it transpire on the football field. That is yet to happen. I was hoping to see before the season started, right? I mean, we discussed, give me at least for one series or at least a few snaps, a diamond formation of Haas Haney, Zane Flores, and Sam Jackson V. Well, Haas Haney's not available, but the other two dudes likely are. Also will be Noah Walters, the kind of X factor that nobody really has capabilities of preparing for because there's not enough film out here on Noah Walters. And he also athletically has the ability to take the ball and run with it. So maybe Noah Walters can trickle into the backfield and add an extra layer. Rodney Fields seems to be ready to rock and roll, healthy for this ball game, which is definitely going to be problematic for KU because not only does he have multiple 100-yard games this season, including his last game hitting 163 yards, he's probably the best wide receiving threat out of the backfield, which coming into the year, a lot anticipated that to be Sesi Vailahe. Speaking of Sesi, he's been getting more opportunities lately. If we're talking about unleashing the monster mash, this needs to be a Trent Howland, Rodney Fields duo in the backfield. Give that true thunder and lightning that we haven't got to see this season. I don't know that there's been an entire game this year where Trent Howland and Rodney Fields were both readily available to kind of feed off of each other. We've seen an emergence out of the offensive line. We need that ugly, dirty, nasty play from the dudes down low. Jacoby Sanders, the big 6'3", 320-pound beast that lifts mountains and houses. That guy. Maybe he can get himself in on the action with the violence. We need that point of attack violence. We need to spark something in this ball game. We spotted Texas Tech 13 points within the first minute and 40-something seconds of the ball game. Maybe we can strike lightning in the bottle with Rodney Fields and then have the thunder of Trent Howland to back it up, to put the fear of a loss into KU for this Halloween weekend. I think that Oklahoma State does have the capability to get some things done. I think from the tight end position, if we get to see more out of Grayson Brousseau, that's positive. If we get to see even more out of Quentin Stewart, he has earned this opportunity that he's getting. I can't wait to see him make the most of it. Could this be a young Landon Cleveland big-time moment? Parker Robertson, he's been that guy, that rock that has been kind of steady for Oklahoma State this season in the back end. He's been that guiding light in the locker room that everybody can look to. Perhaps he has a massive moment. We have enough guys, and nationally they don't get enough respect. We got to put some more film up for a lot of these players' opportunities. The orange and black of Oklahoma State. We hear it all year. The only time your colors are cool is for Halloween. Well, that's because we were built for this. And I do think that Oklahoma State, even without Haas Haney, is built to put up a fight against a team that has been kind of reeling. Yeah, they've got some dudes. Yeah, they've got some areas of concern that we need to pay attention to, which we're about to jump right into. But just let it all go. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if we do throw picks or we do have turnovers, if we don't win the turnover battle. We're a, 24-point underdog? If there's any game that Oklahoma State this season can rock these colors into an away stadium and magically get a crazy W, I mean, why not this one? KU, again, is probably the most susceptible. Mazda's certainly not susceptible, and, you don't need to zoom on a broom, even though it is Halloween. Mazda is going to move the game forward, the moment forward, the day forward. For those who believe that it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, there are moments that do more than simply just put points up on the board. They move crowds, move cultures, and keep the game moving forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward last week for Oklahoma State, I think certainly has to be the emergence out of Trip White. Trip White has led Oklahoma State in tackles this season, as has Mordecai McDaniel, which we've covered previously. Brandon Rawls does give us a different flavor, but I think that some of the success that Wendell Gregory is having this season and why he is the monster mashing almost every single opponent this season is because some of those other dudes that are opening up holes. And when you follow what moves you, like Wendell Gregory has been able to follow some of the individuals to help him move the game forward. If Trip White has success, that gives Wendell Gregory the ability to move the game forward. That's the unexpecteds that we've come to expect with Wendell Gregory. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's also more to every Mazda vehicle. Make sure that you go check out a Mazda as soon as possible so you can move and be moved by a Mazda. Boom, right into segment 2 here so we can go get to some trick-or-treating outside with the kids. The scariest problems for Oklahoma State, ironically enough, it actually might need to be starting with the special teams. The special teams at KU does unfortunately have a pretty unique unit. Whenever you look at the top 25 rankings inside the Big 12 as it pertains to the special team stuff, when it comes to field goals, Kansas has the 6th ranked kicker in the Big 12. And then whenever it goes over to punting as well, West Paul is the number 2 in the Big 12 in punting. Right behind him is Finn Lappin, number 3, KU. Whichever one of those dudes gets the least amount of work or has the best ability to pin teams deep might give their squad a massive moment here. If you can win the turnover battle on top of the special teams battle, you definitely have the chance to surprise some people. And then when you look at the overall offense, returns, Emmanuel Hendricks Jr. is number 2 in the Big 12 at returns, and he's already produced 321 yards, a 91-yard touchdown, and he's averaging 26.8 yards per return. So if Oklahoma State is going to steal something in Lawrence, Kansas, it might actually have to start with special teams. We just mentioned the KU does still definitely have some dudes to pay attention to. Kind of sticking in the same vein of special teams, their kicker is number 10 in the Big 12 when it comes to overall scoring. Defensively, that's where I think Oklahoma State is going to have some capabilities here. We've talked about going from 5.5 to 2.7 yards per carry allowed defensively. The front 7 for Oklahoma State has been massively improved. Maybe I think when you can look at it, one of the most improved of the season. But KU has an absolute savage of an individual that we have to pay attention to, and that is Trey Lathan. Yes, Trey Lathan gave Oklahoma State fits this previous season, and now he's coming in with 54 tackles this year. That is definitely going to be problematic. We have to keep an eye on him. And then right behind Parker Robertson of Oklahoma State is, yes, you guessed it, Lyric Rawls. Lyric Rawls already has 50 tackles this season, and he is a mainstay for that KU defense. Lyric Rawls has been an absolute massive addition for this KUD. Tackles for loss, number 3 in the Big 12, our main man, the beast, rocking the thumbnail, Wendell Gregory. Right behind him, KU has a dude named Bargley Kamara. I probably just massacred that first name, but last name, Kamara. He is a neck and neck, right next to or right behind, we should say, Wendell Gregory in the tackles for loss department. KU still has some other guys to pay attention to with Leroy Harris III, a big body beast that can bang down low. Tommy Dunn Jr. is another individual that we have to pay attention to. But for KU country out here, Wendell Gregory, also top 25 in the Big 12 in sacks. Right now, he is currently number 19 in the conference. We mentioned earlier, interceptions. Both KU and Oklahoma State are down in that department, so it shouldn't necessarily have to be a massive concern for everybody involved. And then when you look at some of the team stats, sacks against, Kansas is 12th. Oklahoma State is 10th. So our O-line does better than their D-line. That's something to pay attention to. Sacks by, Kansas is 7th in the Big 12. Oklahoma State is 11th. So it's going to give our O-line a little bit of a test, but this is where we need to take some solace. The O-line and the front 7 are easily the most improved units throughout the course of the season. The O-line has an argument for being the best, which is why our rushing game has been able to increase pretty significantly. KU is 13th in the Big 12 when it comes to interceptions. Oklahoma State is 15th. Fumbles forced, KU is 5th. Oklahoma State is 10th. That will be something we have to pay attention to, ball security. And then fumbles recovered, KU is 4th. Oklahoma State is 6th. So The tail of the tape, if you will, means that KU should probably be scared of Oklahoma State just because we've got nothing to lose, tons to gain. And if you look at the availability injury report, we're getting a significant number of guys back. Yes, I know we've had some guys that have entered the portal, but by and large, when you're seeing some things like DeSean Brown coming back, having a massive effect, and then his first game back healthy, that should catapult us into even more success in this particular ball game. We've got plenty of talent, at least individually. Maybe it's time for the coaches to kind of have a convergence here. Is this the pieces of the puzzle coming together a little bit more for Kevin Johns? Clint Bowens have had a few different weeks now to kind of orchestrate what he's looking for on the defensive side of the ball. Massive improvements from the front seven. You got to give a shout out to Ryan McNamara. You got to give a shout out to Ryan Osborne and definitely Clint Bowen. So there's tons of things that become problematic for Kansas in this ball game. Oklahoma State should not be neck and neck with KU in this many statistical categories. And to me, that's scary. If I'm a Jayhawk fan, there's an expectation of a win, but maybe that's the worst part, is that there is an expectation of a W. And there is going to be a lot of conversations if Lance Leipold starts trending in the wrong direction. I mean, he's already starting to trend that way. Not like he's in jeopardy by any stretch, but there is going to start to have some, problems pop up. And if you lose to a downtrodden Oklahoma State team that lost to Tulsa, had a bunch of transfers, lost multiple quarterbacks, has a wide receiver playing quarterback, yeah, Lance Leipold's going to have some answering for. It is time to keep your streak alive this Saturday with DoorDash, because it is almost that time, and we're going to crown this week's MVP, who delivered for Oklahoma State, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving time every position of an order. Yeah, I definitely messed that up. For Locked On Oklahoma State listeners, I think we got to give it to Wendell Gregory. Wendell Gregory delivered in a big way, shot out of a cannon was something that was used on TV, describing what Wendell Gregory was doing against Texas Tech. When the pressure was on, Wendell Gregory's been able to deliver for Oklahoma State tons this season without hesitation, without delay. If you've been watching week after week, it hasn't necessarily been fluke of performances either. Wendell Gregory's on a streak. And just like Wendell Gregory delivered for Oklahoma State, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You can save every Saturday with your order, stack it all up throughout the course of the season to get up to saving $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash terms apply. And remember, the promotional period is good through November 18th. Keep the streak alive alongside Wendell Gregory with DoorDash. FanDuel, is the bee's knees for all of your betting needs. The NBA action is back, and there's not a better place for you to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you just want to ride the hot hand all the way through to the end, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score the next bucket to who will lead the fourth quarter comeback. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making a late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet is a winner. Head on over to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of, you guessed it, the NBA. All right, before we do get on out of here, it is time for the young guns to step up, and one of those young guns that is definitely going to get more opportunities is Calr'Veon Young. Somebody did discuss this earlier on this week, that some of the younger dudes were going to be getting more opportunities. He was mentioned specifically. So, yes, the big 4-star, 6'4", 215-pound true freshman linebacker from Carl Albert, Oklahoma City area, is going to be getting his opportunities in this ball game. So look out for number 38. Good number 36, Aiden Webb, perhaps the 6'3", 170-pound safety from Dallas. Could he get some play here? Will Cam Powell, the 6 foot, 206-pound freshman wide receiver from McKinney, Texas, get an opportunity? Jaden Perez has been a massive part of the scout team stuff this season. Perhaps he could get an opportunity. I do know for sure that Matrell Lopez, 6 foot, 180-pound hands team wide receiver from Idabel, Oklahoma. If I recall correctly, our nickname for him last year was Mr. Miss You in a Phone Booth. He's definitely going to be getting an opportunity. Cannot wait for it. Kobe Foreman, needed some help in the back end. Could this Dallas, Texas, Berkner High School product get his opportunity? Finally, DJ Duggar was an individual that in the spring fall camp was one of the freshmen that was discussed and maybe having a role on special teams a little bit more into the season. Perhaps that is going to come to fruition at the tail end of the season. Royal Capel's been getting opportunities, so he's kind of a cheat code here. Unfortunately, I do think that Jalen Beckley is coming back pretty steadily. He won't be ready quite yet. We saw Luke Webb get an opportunity this previous week, so look out for number 98 getting more. Gunnar Wilson, another dude that has been making the most of his opportunities, not only getting in on tackles, being disruptive, getting forced fumbles, getting fumbles. That's absolutely massive. Jacoby Oliphant has been a mainstay. Armstrong Nodom's been a mainstay. Could Tamarick Johnson, number 40, 6'2", 230-pound linebacker, could he be out there causing some havoc? I think Eric Fletcher's been getting more moments. Grayson Brousseau's been getting more moments. Shamar Rigby, he needs to take a more integral role. We've been talking about having a wide receiver pop off and make something crazy happen. This needs to be another big game for him. Landon Cleveland's a young dude that's been playing a lot this season. Pawasa Utu, we've been seeing number 35, so hopefully we could see more of it as the season progresses. Tajah McCoy's been playing more. Cameron Hurd, an old name that probably could get an opportunity here. I just find it very exciting that a lot of these guys that have been grinding and they've been putting in the work and they haven't necessarily been receiving all of the benefits of that. It's nice to know that they're getting in on the discussion for more playing time, whether it be in a rotational capacity on one side or the other of the balls, or if we're just talking about special teams. This is a good moment for these guys to prove that there's a reason that they're here. There's a reason that they've been grinding and putting in the work and the effort. And they've been busting their tail on scout team to get moments like this. We've discussed ad nauseum that the backups have outperformed the starters, and it hasn't even been close. So hopefully this is a peek behind the curtain at even more of that. So happy Halloween to all of you out here. Get out there, have some fun, go do some trick-or-treating. Check the candy. Make sure nothing gets a little crazy. You might as well stay warm, take a shot of whiskey or drink a brew or two if you're into that kind of thing. Happy Halloween, everybody. Rock the orange and black like we do all year on the day that makes the most amount of sense, and the weekend that makes the most amount of sense for anybody to pull an upset. It should be us. So let's go take down the Jayhawks. Get ready to fire them pistols. Pete. Yeah. It's that time. All right, y'all. You know I love you. As always, God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. You could be anywhere. So happy you choose to be here. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. That's okay too. More importantly, share, comment, and subscribe. The podcast people out there, you're everything that makes this work. I appreciate what you do. Go do what you do. Hit the stars. Leave some reviews. All right, y'all. Later, taters, and talons up. Friends, Falcons, baby.